Hello. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how you can register for Multi-Factor Authentication, or MFA for short, once it has been enabled by your organization. In this context, Multi-Factor Authentication adds an extra layer of security by requiring you to provide 2 or more verification methods when accessing Microsoft 365 services, such as your emails and files. These 2 authentication methods are usually a password and a one-time code sent to a nominated device and ensures that only authorized individuals can access important services. If you are wanting to use an authenticator app to receive your MFA codes, you'll require a computer and a smartphone. Or if you are wanting to receive your MFA codes by phone number, you'll require a computer and any telephone device. Ready? Let's begin. First, open up a web browser on your computer and then browse to office.com. Once the web page is loaded, you may be prompted to sign in with your Microsoft 365 username and password. If so, please sign in now. Otherwise, you may find that you are signed in automatically. Once authenticated with your username and password, you will be prompted to set up multi-factor authentication for your account. At the More Information Required screen, click Next to begin the registration process. The Setup wizard will now appear. Within the Setup wizard, you will see either of the 2 screens displayed now. The top left screen reflects a scenario where your organization only requests one authentication method to be registered, whereas the bottom right screen illustrates a scenario where your organization requires 2 methods, which is usually needed when a feature called Self-Service Password Reset, or SSPR for short, has been enabled, which allows you to reset your own Microsoft 365 password should you ever forget it. Either way, whichever screen you see, please follow the on-screen instructions to register the number of authentication methods required. In this example, we are only going to register for one authentication method, but if you are asked to register 2 methods, the same process can be repeated, albeit with a different authentication method. For example, if you set up the Authenticator app for your first registration, your second one should reflect a different method, such as a phone number or an email address. Let's begin the setup process now. You can choose to use an authenticator application to receive your MFA codes to, which is considered best practice and will be the method we'll be using today. Or you can choose to use a phone number for your MFA codes to be sent to. As we'll be using an authenticator application, we'll click Next at this screen as the authenticator app method is displayed and selected by default. If, however, you'd prefer to set up a different method, such as a telephone number, select I want to set up a different method instead, and then follow the subsequent instructions. Once we've progressed through the initial screen, at the next one, click Next once more. You'll then be presented with a QR code. Please leave this QR code on screen whilst we continue the setup on your smartphone. Let's continue the setup on your smartphone of choice. If you have an iPhone or iPad, please refer to the left-hand side of the screen. Or if you have an Android device, please refer to the right-hand side of the screen. First, if you don't already have the Microsoft Authenticator application installed, please download and install it now via either the App Store for iPhones and iPads or the Google Play Store for Android. Simply open up the relevant store application and then search for and download the Microsoft Authenticator application. Once downloaded and installed, the application should be available on your smartphone. Please locate the Microsoft Authenticator app and then click to open it. Once opened, please progress through the initial welcome screens by clicking Next and skip. Please note that the exact wording may differ between devices. Once the welcome screens have been satisfied, at the main screen, click the visible button to add a new account. Or if not present, click the plus icon in the top bar. At the Add Account screen, select Work or School Account, and when asked, choose to scan a QR code. If prompted to consent and approve permissions for the application to be able to access your camera, please approve them. Next, with the camera showing, scan the QR code that we left on your computer earlier. If prompted to allow or enable notifications, choose to allow. Once the QR code has been scanned, we'll transition back to the computer for a moment, where we'll click Next to proceed through the setup. Microsoft will then send a test MFA code to your smartphone that you'll need to satisfy to complete the process. Back on your smartphone, within the Authenticator application, when asked, please enter the number you can see presented on your computer and then click Yes. You may also be prompted to enter your smartphone's lock screen code for added protection. If you are, please enter that also. Microsoft will then verify that the codes match, and if they do, you have successfully finished adding a new authentication method for MFA. Finally, back on your computer, please click Next to close the setup window. Let's now take a look at multi-factor authentication in action. From time to time, you will be prompted by Microsoft 365 to satisfy MFA prompts, such as when you sign in from a new device, change location, or are accessing certain services. When prompted, like in this screen, simply open the prompt notification on your smartphone and enter the code you see on your computer. It's as simple as that. One important thing to remember with MFA is that you should only satisfy MFA prompts that you are expecting and have been asked for on one of your devices. If you're not expecting a prompt and have not been asked on one of your own devices, please be cautious around satisfying the prompt, as it could indicate unauthorized access. Thank you for watching the video and following the steps. If you require any further assistance, please reach out via your usual support channels.